Match Week 15 marks the start of the second half of 2025. This midweek matchup features the last two regular season champions as North Texas take on Colorado Rapids 2 at Denver Soccer Stadium. Hello, welcome, I'm Ryan Lee. Thanks for joining us. And two of the top 5 teams in the West kick off Match Week 15 with their sights on the top seed. The Rapids have climbed into the top 3 after finishing dead last in 2024. A win tonight would pull them level with second place St. Louis City 2 and only 3 points potentially behind the top seed Ventura County. Meanwhile, the reigning champs North Texas are looking to bounce back after 2 straight losses, something that happened only once all of last season. They'll look to avoid dropping 3 straight for the first time since July 2023. For Colorado Rapids 2, due to the pause in the first team reps, they have 6 changes in their lineups. Anthony Garcia is up top with the team's top 2 goal scorers in Stuart Baines and Swan. Rogelio Garcia is in the midfield for his second start of the season, getting his first last week in St. Louis. Anderson Hosa joins Zachary Campagnolo in the back. Campagnolo makes his first appearance since returning from international duty with the USA U18s. And for North Texas, they have to make changes too because of their absentees from the first team. They will make 5 changes in their 11s. John Gall's got Anthony Ramirez making his 50th appearance in MLS NEXT Pro for the third-year midfielder. Contreras and Sarver will help the midfield attacking unit with Scott up top. Torquato and Cotalesa are in the back, and all 5 of the back are all first-year MLS NEXT Pro players between the back 4 and the goaltender JT Harms, who starts his second straight stopping a career high 5 saves against Austin from a week ago. Make our way towards the pitch where Colorado Rapids 2 and North Texas SC are 2 of the top 5 teams in the Western Conference of MLS NEXT Pro. For Colorado Rapids 2, they've got 7 wins on the season so far already through 14 matches. 7-5-2 is where they sit so far this season. That's compared to the 6 wins they got all of last year. So already surpassing that total and half of the game total for Eric Boucher's unit. A lot of that has to do with more blue-collar, gritty players is what Boucher attributed that success to. Learning how to get results every time that they have been dealt with a tough task, especially today with North Texas. The St. Louis game ended a 2-game winning streak, something that has only been done once in 2024. They've already had 2 strings with multiple wins in 2025. So the turnaround for Rapids 2 has already been shown halfway through the season. The big question for the Rapids, how far can they take that momentum and that success going into the back half of the season? And for North Texas SC, the reigning champions in both the regular season and the postseason, despite not having the flashiest numbers compared to what they did last year, they're still 3 points away from a top 3 seed in the Western Conference. Coach John Gall said that they have corrected course since a rough start, with a string of 7 games of 8 with points spanning from March to May. And however, they've been on ice lately. They haven't really defended as well as they've wanted to, and they need to sharpen up if they want to be a physical and determined Colorado side who have the number 2 seed in the West in their eyes. Colorado will start with the maroon shorts and the white jerseys. They go right to left. North Texas, blue and red, they go left to right. We get the opening whistle from our head official, Jacob Larson, as we're started here at Denver Soccer Stadium for MLS NEXT Pro action in the Western Conference up in the Rockies. Ryan Lee and the rest of our NEXT Pro crew, we appreciate you coming here on this Wednesday night, where both teams are coming off of losses. For Colorado, it was a real tumultuous one against St. Louis City 2, getting a 2-0 lead just before the end of the half in first half stoppage time, taking that 2-0 lead into the locker room. However, they allowed 3 goals late, including 2 in second half stoppage time, where St. Louis City 2 strung back those goals to strip the 3 points away from Rapids 2. A performance that Eric Boucher only said was our toughest result of the year and the toughest result in recent memory, as John Gall and his side are looking to continue their string of form from what they did from a year ago against this Rapids 2 side, knowing that they are a physically determined team. They're going to play direct, they're going to come at you, and it's about how we're able to manage those situations, especially considering that they have just been cold recently. They haven't been on their P's and Q's, especially on the defensive side of the ball, and those are the things that they're going to have to correct if they want to get the 3 points today and a chance at a top 3 seed in the Western Conference after match week 15. Bit of a back and forth, no one quite able to claim it, as Colorado try to spring forward. The takedown immediately from Kamani Stewart Baines as he makes his way up. Stewart Baines, one of the top goal scorers on this unit for Colorado. He leads the way with 4 goals for Rapids 2, as this one is pitched along for Anderson Hossa working the wing. Hossa had Stewart Baines and Colton Swan coming in, but neither able to make anything go before it's poked out by Cortalesa. Stewart Baines, edge of the box, nothing much more there, as his target might have been offside, so he hesitated on the pass. A quick little tug on Aaron Assel will allow North Texas to take it back. And for North Texas and John Gall, 6-5-2 to start the season. That's good for the top 5 in the Western Conference to start off with their 21 points. However, they have been on a slide with losses to Austin and St. Louis, only scoring 1 goal across those 2 games while allowing 4, a 2-0 loss in St. Louis, a 2-1 loss against Austin. And that Austin game, they were down 2-0. They got a goal late. It was one that Coach Gall categorized was just too little, too late when it's all said and done. And right as they felt like they were getting back into their groove, the goal allowed just put things onto a screeching halt and killed the momentum they were generating at that point. As Colorado looks to generate, bit of a takedown from behind as Antony Garcia coughs it up. Chance to work the outside for Jaden Contreras, as he was able to win the throw after that little bit of a scuffle. And for Contreras, he's also one of the many members of this match. There are 4 of them, in fact, 2 on Colorado and 2 on North Texas, who came back from Switzerland taking part in the U18s in the UEFA Friendship Cup, where Team USA won it all when it was all said and done. Zach Campagnolo getting his first touch since that opening goal kick, one of the members of that U18 squad that went to Switzerland, as this is a chance for Kamani Stewart Baines. Stewart Baines dribbling slowly towards JT Harms. Harms, the ex-Indiana Hoosier, last playing in that last match that North Texas had against Austin in that 2-1 loss. However, for Harms, he was able to deny 5 of the 7 of Austin, which gave him a single game career high in terms of saves made. And he's been really trying to generate something, primarily the first team third stringer, and getting most of the reps here with the second team, as he's got to watch out for Stewart Baines and the rest of the Rapids as they continue onward. Pinto wanted Swan, but he might have been in offside position and let it go. Colorado already back on it after the touch made by Campagnolo that went end to end. It's a chance for Colorado to start on the attack after possessing some of the lowest offensive numbers from a year ago in that 2024 season where things just didn't go their way whatsoever. They were the last place team in the Western Conference, were Rapids too, and they've had a chance to turn things around as that was just overshot for Tarek Scott. And for Colorado, a lot of that has to do with what Eric Boucher very simply put it. It's just a different team. Every single time we enter a new season, we look for different ways to tweak the philosophy, to make up the overall mentality of the team, and that's really been a lot of the X factor for Rapid 2's turn to success is the blue-collar nature of a lot of these guys, the grittiness that they play with, their ability to support each other, no matter if they're going to be a part of the starting 11 or if they're going to be a rotational guy. Everyone supports each other. Everyone helps each other out in every way, shape, and form, and it feels more of a solid, singular unit than in the season they had last year where things just felt stagnated at times, where they just weren't on the same page for good chunks of games and helped them drop results. They look to build up, but nothing there as it falls right for Mo Cisse. Harms has to look out. He had a man right in front of his face. That was Ramirez who was closing in, as this is a chance to go deep, and Sarver is not going to get there in time. The takedown right at center will hold things up for a bit. That is Antony Garcia who is down on the ground. Right back up, no real problems there for Garcia, the 20-year-old from Honduras, who's on his second season with the Colorado Rapids, being on loan from FC Montagua in Honduras, as it comes across for Stuart Baines. Centering feed was denied, so this is a chance for Ramirez. Ramirez stops on a dime, makes a man miss. Ramirez wanted to find Scott. Only white jerseys in the way. Scott around Balous, trickles out of play. And this will be a stoppage as we approach the 10-minute mark. First corner of the match upcoming in favor of North Texas. As we close in on 10 minutes, Alejandro Urzua on the in-swinger, headed towards goal and punched out by Campagnolo. What a save to start by Zachary Campagnolo to keep this game scoreless. And the header for Tarek Scott. He had Campagnolo diving, but the 18-year-old keeper from Fort Myers was up to the task. Urzua joins Ramirez on the near side. Ramirez making his 50th appearance in his third season MLS Next Pro. This one's crossed in on a deflection. North Texas backing up as That one goes right towards the end fence. Stolen back for North Texas, not for long as Essel tried to win it back. Last off of Aaron Essel. "79-degree day here in Denver. A mild 9-per-hour wind going south, so it's going to be going towards us to away from us. As this one goes out of play once more. Stuart Baines chopped down from behind, and just saw a couple of set-piece opportunities for North Texas on the first two corners. Now a chance for Colorado to draw something up on the stoppage. Long ball service. Only North Texas players. A swing and a miss from Stuart Baines, but he's back on his feet. Swan. That one was skyward towards Stuart Baines, but cleared out unsuccessfully by Bulkley, and eventually he will get the ball back on a foul from Colorado. James Bulkley making his way back up. He got his first start of the season in the last match against Austin. That's because he took an injury in the first match that he played on the season. That was back in match week 2 against Vancouver Whitecaps, where that was pretty much 3 months where Bulkley just had to wait and recover. But another strip from Bulkley. Bulkley looks for a breakout pass. He's found it for Sarver. Ramirez. Not enough juice as that was blocked away by Steve Flores. Flores looking for space as he eventually finds Anderson Hosa. And that gives a lane for Rogelio Garcia. Garcia to center. Swan lets it go. And a bit of a collision between Steve Flores and Josh Taquato just at the top of the box. Scott and Sarver. Those two lead this team in goals, first and second respectively. Sarver leading the way for North Texas as he's had so many goals. His 7 are in the top 6 in MLS NEXT Pro, only 4 off of the leader in Nelson Pierre of Vancouver Whitecaps 2, who are actually North Texas's next opponent. And what a battle of titans that'll be when North Texas make their way up to the Great White North. They actually flew over to Colorado on Tuesday, and tomorrow they go straight back to the airport heading to Vancouver, having to bring their passports with them. North Texas looking for the long pass, too far for Scott. Easily scooped in by Campagnolo. who, as mentioned, was part of that U18 squad that went to the UEFA Friendship Cup in Switzerland. He didn't start in the final, but he was a part of the roster in a couple of those matches. That was the third time that he's been called up with the U18s. Last played in MLS Next Pro play at the beginning of May in a road game that was in Houston against the Dynamo. It was a loss that Rapids 2 took. However, it was in penalties, so they were able to at least draw a point out of it. And considering how tight things are at the top of the Western Conference, every point, no matter how they get them, will be so important coming down the line. As it goes for Anthony Ramirez. Sarver to cross. Can't find the target he was looking for, and it goes for Campagnolo. This part of the match is brought to you by UC Health. With personalized care in locations across Colorado, UC Health is here for you. No matter where your story takes you, UC Health. Live extraordinary. So right as Colorado were starting to make their way upward, you had a sliding Alejandro Urzua who took that slide from the side and will get the first booking of the match at the 18-minute mark. Urzua, 19-year-old Dallas native who is coming off of his first goal against North Texas, giving his first start of the season after spending the last 7 of 2025 all coming off of the bench.
Yellow card issued in the 17th minute to North Texas, number 34, Alejandro Urzua.
Long ball disrupted by Michael Cortellessa. As we are approaching 20 minutes. Hossa to the box, no one to receive, and out the other end goes Josh Torquato. Torquato made his MLS debut just a couple of short days ago, 4 days ago, the last time that FC Dallas were in play, replacing none other than the 2023 MVP of the MLS, Lucho Acosta, in a late match substitution. Sarver able to win that ball away from Hossa. A battle of two relatively different styles between Rapids 2 and North Texas. For John Gall and company, it's a lot about trying to find the success that they've had, especially from last season in transition, and just trying to utilize a lot of the speed, a lot of the precise passing and numbers coming up the pitch. It was a lot of what Eric Boucher was talking about in terms of what you have to look out for with the reigning champs. And for Eric Boucher and company, they like to get the bodies on them, get up in your face, get physical, and just make things as gnarly as possible for the opposition. A physical, direct, determined group, just trying to manage a lot of what the Rapids will throw at them, is what John Gall mentioned for Rapids 2, especially because they finally found the 2023 form. As that is out of reach, unable to find Rogelio Garcia. Arching to center, Vincent Rinaldi lets Campagnolo send that one. And with the first teams on break after the last couple of games that were played over the weekend, this has allowed a lot of the young kids, a lot of the academy guys, a lot of these first-year players to get the reps in these live game scenarios. Sam Sarver, one of those first-year players from the Indiana Hoosiers, where he has been so good for North Texas, donning the captain's armband, really a complete package player for John Gall. Someone who just looks to compete at everything, especially the little things. Gall recalled of Sarver even doing some little things like extra PKs with goalies or crossbar challenges, just those training exercises. He wants to compete and win at everything that he sees, as that one just stays in on a tightrope from Stuart Baines. Cortellessa and Ramirez start North Texas's attack. Cortellessa unable to save it off the line. Ten matches between North Texas and Colorado in their respective histories. If you take things kind of for the face value of it, it's 4 wins in favor of Colorado, 3 for North Texas, and 3 of them have drawn level. But if you include the results from the PKs, it actually evens out to 500 exactly. 5 wins for North Texas, 5 for Rapids 2 across those 10 matches. So this is a chance to deadlock the head-to-head in their 11th match against each other. Second meeting of 3 between Colorado and North Texas. The first one was back on Easter Sunday. That was over at Choctaw Stadium, where Colorado Rapids would win that game in Arlington on a very late goal. That was in stoppage time. That allowed Colorado to rip the 3 points out of North Texas's grasp, or at least the 1 point to force a tie. Essel can't get away from Rogelio Garcia, as Garcia's taken down from Essel. And only 24 minutes in, Rogelio Garcia has been taking a beating so far, but as the center midfield in this listed 4-3-3 for Eric Boucher, he has been called on quite a bit. Got his first start of the season last week against St. Louis, making his 8th starts of his MLS Next Pro career, all 2 seasons of it, for the Mexican ex-international. Hossa and Stuart Baines shakes a couple defenders off as him and Colorado look to just buy breathing room. Rogelio Garcia wanted to continue, but you had to take down inside the center circle. As Jacob Larson, our head official in the yellow, continues to mitigate this game. Charles Rupert, Ben Kyler, the assistant referees, and Jared Mosher is the 4th official. No one really able to generate anything severe. Only 1 shot attempt that was from North Texas. That was at the beginning portion of the game off of that corner kick that was punched out by Campagnolo. Just the 2 corners to speak of, and the 1 shot on target for Tarek Scott. Garcia arches for Stuart Baines. Stuart Baines shakes away from Cortellessa, centering feed, blocked in front. Second chance is out of the box from SL. Contreras tries to escape, and he'll go back towards Torquato, and that will be gone from the foot of JT Harms, but it's still alive for Colorado in the box. Takes a block as it dribbles out of play, and you still have Aaron SL in the box as medical gets called. But what a string of attack here from Colorado Rapids too. Just nothing got its way to the net. A great move from Stuart Baines to shake away from Cortellessa. A nice diving block there from Mo Cisse to deny a chance in front as well. And you see the total commitment in front of the box from North Texas as Essel gets looked at by the medical staff. And that's something that John Gall said he really emphasized to his guys after that match versus Austin. One that he said was very disappointed. Just a lot of things didn't necessarily go their way. They were hitting posts, they had scoring opportunities, but they weren't falling. As we mentioned in the open, they gave up a second goal to go down 2-0 in that game versus Austin. It kind of felt like they were getting back into it, and it kind of stopped their momentum in a screeching halt. And by the time they got that goal to pull back within one, it felt like too little too late at that point. And they just really want to tighten things up, especially to sharpen up in front of goal, making sure they're not being wasteful on the offense and making sure that they're really putting in the work, not being lax defensively. It's put them in situations that either it makes it very difficult to climb out of, or it put them in a prime position and then they lose control of the game because of it. It's kind of been a perfect storm of things not necessarily going North Texas's way, but they've continued to fight along, to push along, to gain the results when they've had to, especially with a top 5 seed in the Western Conference as of now. And for John Gall in his 35th match with this North Texas SC side, he knows that this team is capable of exceptional things. But they also play a lot of tight games. 5 of their 6 wins have been 1-goal decisions. However, they are coming off of back-to-back losses, looking to prevent a 3-game losing streak that hasn't happened to North Texas since July of 2023. First 2 losses, 1 on the road, 1 at home. They're back on the road again. And if we go back to that string in 2023, 3-game losing streak, 2 at the road, 1 at home. But they do win the ball back off of a Rapids foul. Sarver shoved from behind by Anderson Hosa. And we saw Colorado take a set piece from distance earlier. Now North Texas have a set piece opportunity that weren't just on the corners, but they go short for Cortellessa. Contreras. The interception made by Stuart Baines just gets barreled by Ramirez, and Ramirez will eat the yellow card. Just that little hip check by Anthony Ramirez. This portion of the match is brought to you by King Soopers, Hometown Grocers, hometown team. A nice sliding intervention there by North Texas as they look to continue the attack, but it gets thwarted by a bit of a mishandle. And regardless, whistle goes Colorado's way regardless. Deep ball attempted from Anthony Garcia, offside. North Texas looking for their first win in the month of June. Colorado Rapids looking to get back in the win column, potentially to get 3 of 4, and that one was not saved off of the end line by JT Harms, so this allows Colorado to actually get their first corner of the match. An unusual way to get one, but the Rapids will take it nonetheless, especially after their 2-shot attempts just about a few minutes earlier that were only met by bodies in blue. First corner of the match for Colorado, 34th minute. Outswinger, header, up and over. Vincent Rinaldi got the connection, but not accurate enough. Rinaldi was really able to elevate there, the 18-year-old at 6'0", 160, really utilizing the frame on that last one to wiggle past the defender there, the Aurora, Colorado native. He spent his time in the NCAA with Northeastern. He actually was a part of the Dallas Academy at one point before making the transition with the Colorado Rapids Academy program that came a couple of years ago, and he's been with the Rapids ever since as Rinaldi in his second season, playing 13 matches in Next Pro across those 2 games. Bulkley is intending for Sarver, but Colorado doing well on defense as we approach the final 10 minutes of the first half. No one's broken through Campagnolo or Harms. And only Zachary Campagnolo has been forced to make a save so far. That one got clipped off of Colton Swan, and it's a chance for Colorado to win it back on Tony Garcia. Working around Torquato. Torquato last clipped it out of play. It's in for Rogelio Garcia, but lost it. A lot of these balls have just been going off of bodies, as this is going to be sent off once again by JT Harm. This part of the match is brought to you by your Front Range Toyota stores. Toyota, let's go places. Contreras end-to-end. Sarver, too much pace on that ball. Sarver's not going to save it. After the rainbow ball from the Rapids, have a man down on the pitch right next to the center stripe. Getting back on his feet, the defender slotting in the left back today from Kona, Hawaii, Josh Torquato, has started in 12 of 13 this season and even made his MLS debut recently, the last time that FC Dallas were out against Sporting Kansas City. Cross by Hossa, blocked by Cortellessa. Balous on the cycle with Flores. Flores couldn't corral, so this goes towards North Texas. Stuart Baines holds on. Stuart Baines cuts across, lets it go, just wide of the net. Colorado finally generating shot opportunities. They are a top 10 unit in the MLS Next Pro in terms of just generating opportunities, and for Stuart Baines trying to make it go off of Michael Cortellessa, who is making his first start in his MLS Next Pro debut season. So maybe trying to take advantage of that matchup with some of the experience that Stuart Baines has in his second season of MLS Next Pro, with a couple of caps under his belt with the Canadian U20s. Trying to use the experience and the mismatch that he has against the first year Next Pro product in Cortellessa. As it's already back in for the Rapids. Takedown, edge of the area. Flag goes up, offside. Colorado continue to win the ball back in the attacking end as it's fed through for Colton Swan. Up the gut, Stuart Baines against Harms, coming out of the box. Advantage played towards North Texas. Cortellessa goes deep. Scott looks for an escape. And it's one back. Nice defensive play there made by Rinaldi. Allows Garcia to pivot. Stripped away. Scott slipped on his own 2 feet, but it goes for Sarver, and it will be a throw-in won by North Texas as we enter the final 5 of the first half. This was that last scoring chance for Colorado, as it was a little bit bobbly on Stuart Baines. Couldn't quite corral it. Neither could JT Harms. And good news for Harms and the defender nearby in Cortellessa. No harm was done. Cisse for Torquato. Torquato just getting harassed by Antoni Garcia. And Garcia, the aggressor, right back to North Texas. 42nd minute. Ryan Lee and the rest of our MLS Next Pro crew. No one's broken through the goalkeeping yet, but a chance for North Texas. A give and go, centering feed, and got Campagnola out of position. The defense able to assist, and this will be a corner for North Texas. A throw-in rather for North Texas, as this is a nice little give and go here with the assistance for Torquato. Might have been looking for Sarver right there in the middle, but it comes right towards the awaiting defender, who just slams that as far away from the net as he can launch it. Physicality with Torquato as it's stripped back by Amadou. Hortaleza. The cycle with Bulkley and Cisse. Continuing the cycle is North Texas. They're just trying to get out of their own end. Colorado pressing very high up the pitch, trying to make life as difficult as possible for North Texas, especially now that they have really seen what North Texas's counter can produce, as Tarek Scott was out of range and it was poked back to Campagnolo by Flores. And for Steve Flores, the fourth-year player from Denver, Colorado. He joined the academy program back when he was a U12 player, and 4 seasons later in MLS Next Pro, now 21 years old, 66 matches played in his 50th start in Next Pro, as you have Colton Swan offside. And that is Mo Cisse, who is slow to get up. Montreal native, ex-Penn State Nittany Lion, and when he was with Penn State in the lone season, he was in the NCAA in 2023. He represented Mali in the 2024 Paris Olympics in that U23 men's side, where they had a very difficult group stage to get a part of, but at such a young age, 20 years old, getting a chance to represent your native country at such a high stage like the Olympics. Competition level and everything that you see going in transition from the NCAA to that type of a stage is ginormous, especially with him being the only one in the U.S. playing on that team. This one shot from distance as it's blocked in front. Torquato got a yellow card after that play was over. They were awaiting for the play to end, and that's already 3 yellows given to North Texas. This one is right at the mark of stoppage time, which is a grand total of 1 minute. But North Texas, they give up a lot of opportunities. They give the most fouls of anyone in MLS Next Pro and the most yellow cards. And a lot of those issues with the discipline, just staying focused and not allowing teams to get these freebies, have allowed them to get in these sticky situations that John Gall has not necessarily been a fan of in this season. they understand the physicality needed to play against the Colorado, and they want to match that, but not at the expense of possession here and there or freebie set pieces like that they might have just given up to Rapids too. That's Jaden Contreras, who is getting a talking to from our head official, Jacob Larson, as we are past the 1 minute of stoppage. Malik Pinto to send. Pinto in the area. Header goes aside from Swan. It is held on by Stuart Baines. And the poke out from Torquato will end the half. 45 minutes down, 45 to go, as no one has broken through the goaltending of Zachary Campagnolo or of JT Harms. Zeros across the board at halftime, as first half highlights and stats upcoming after this.
Action.
This summer, the center of the soccer world is right here. The world's best, the world's game, all in your backyard. 4 major moments. One summer like no other. Learn more at MLSsoccer.com/summer.
Welcome back to Denver in this MLS Next Pro match between Rapids 2 and North Texas. Before we get to the upcoming schedule, April Marie Aguilar sat down with Tacoma head coach Hervé Diesse in this week's edition of Coach's Corner.
Welcome to this edition of Coach's Corner. I'm April Marie. Thanks so much for joining me. Today I am with Tacoma Defiance's head coach, Hervé Diesse. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, April. I really appreciate your time. Thank you.
Yes, we appreciate the hospitality. Everything here is absolutely beautiful. This facility is beautiful. The weather is beautiful. But let's get down to business.
Let's go.
What led you to want to become a coach?
Oof. Deep, April.
I love the deep breath.
Well, I was born in Democratic Republic of Congo. At that time, it was called Zaire. And then my family immigrated to South Africa. We moved to South Africa in '93, right before Nelson Mandela came out of prison, which was kind of post-apartheid South Africa. And throughout my childhood, growing up in Johannesburg, I've always wanted to help the youth in some way. I just didn't know what I wanted to do, so I dabbled in everything. I did music, I did film, I did all sorts of things because I wanted to know how to influence them in a positive way. And then I did those things, but then eventually I didn't love it. You know, when you're on a set at 3 o'clock in the morning and you have stale McDonald's as your food, you don't want to be there anymore. So I figured, okay, what is that one thing that I really love to do, which was always sports. I was always on the field or on the court in some way, and soccer was always soccer was my first love of my life. And then I was coaching while I was in college until I met a gentleman by Steve Jones, who still works at New York Red Bulls, and he saw me coach. He invited me to go out and do a session for New York Red Bulls, and I was unprepared, completely unprepared. And after that, I don't even know how well I did in that session, but he pulled me aside and he said, listen, if you take this seriously, you could actually become a really good coach. Been almost 15 years now, and I've had those figures throughout my career that just keep me, have kept me pushing on since then. And then also I've realized the connection that I've made with young players.
Yes.
Being all over this country, in Europe as well, has been phenomenal, has been the best part about it. You can't put a price on value, and I feel like that's the most valuable part of my life so far.
Would you call yourself a teacher?
100%.
Ooh,
100%.
okay.
I am one of my many things that I actually was taught on is how to keep my conversation short, because I always, every time I'm having a conversation with a player, I want to tell them stories. I want to give them analogies, because at heart I am a teacher. But what I've learned in the past 2 years, at least here in Seattle, is not just being a teacher towards the players, but also to staff and all of that stuff. And that's the couple of education I've received over here in Seattle.
I think we need to add to that storyteller.
Listen,
Just in this short
100%.
amount of time, I can already tell you
Yes.
are a storyteller.
Yes, because that's the culture of Congolese people and other Africans is, we sit around and tell stories. It's one of the biggest things about being Congolese is the sense of community and how it takes a village. And everybody knows each other, right? I haven't been back home in a long time, but every single time I see my parents who live in the Congo currently, they love being there because you can literally just sit in front of your house and people come in and the whole community comes in and they tell stories, they share food and all of that stuff. And I miss that. I miss that so much because culture's not that prominent here in the United States. Some places it is, but I wish it was a little bit more in certain areas. But yes, that's what I got from my culture, and that's what I like to share with everybody else.
And something that I find so unique about you is, since stepping into this role, one of the many things that you do is that you take your team on walks through the neighborhood in the morning. What is the significance behind that?
It was an advice from one of my mentors, where he said that you show your importance to your players by spending time with them, away from just the facility, right? This is their job. They come here every single day because they have to come here every single day. So they're obligated to be here. We are obligated to be here because this is our job. But when you take time away from your job to spend time with players and just take walks through their neighborhoods and see what they think about different things, that some of their understanding of life and stuff like that, it's just a better connection that I will have with them. And then that way, when I ask them to do things, that it becomes a little bit easier because we have an understanding. It's also good for me to understand what type of temperament that they have. There's certain players where I can speak to them with a loud voice, and other ones I cannot. I have to whisper. I have to be in the ear. I won't be able to understand that if I don't spend those time with them.
And so obviously that's a major pinpoint when it comes to finding success on the pitch, being able to communicate. But how does that help in finding success for them off of the pitch?
Very good question. And this is, for me, the biggest part. And this is where I found the most solace in what I do is I always want to set them up for success, irregardless of whether it's here, moving to the first team, or where it's somewhere else, right? I always tell them that I am not your maker, right? It's not up to, what happens in your life is not up to me. I can affect it in a way that you may like or may dislike, but I'm not your maker. It's important that you are giving yourself the ingredients for you to thrive in all aspects of life, because you playing here is a small chapter of your life, like really, really small. So sometimes you have to take a couple of steps back and think, okay, I'm here, I need to learn something from here, I need to gain something from this chapter, and then I have to move on. And that goes with myself, it goes with the staff as well. Like one of my head of performance, he just left to go to Austin's first team. Like that's a success story, right? Sazi Di Rosario going to play for the first team. Stu Hawkins, same thing. Those are all, even though we miss them,
right,
and we might not have that prolific striker all the time, or we might not have that strong defender all the time, but it's a success story because they've gone on to better things, and that's the key at the end of the day. So it's really important that they understand that about their lives. And this is just a chapter. You need to get what you need to get. Do not sleep on it. Gain all the experience and the knowledge and all the tools and ingredients that you need. And then after that, your life has to move forward.
So this is the stepping stone per se.
100%.
I'm curious to know though how you find the balance, because especially in this role with MLS Next Pro, there has to be a fine line between both winning games and developing players. So how do you find that medium?
It is the most difficult part. It's any second team coach here in the US, in South America, Africa, and Europe, in Asia. It's the most difficult part because sometimes you have to make decisions for the betterment of certain players, and that's just the truth. But you're trying to do that in a collective sport and still try to win games. And there are other times where no, we have to able to accept certain situations because this player really needs this. Like, for an example, maybe he's not having a good game. He's not playing a good game at all. But we need to keep him. He needs to not struggle, but he needs to learn through this process. And it might mean that, yeah, okay, we might fall short here and there in the game, but we know that if he goes through this right now, the player that's going to come out of this experience will help us in the end. And that's the most important part.
Definitely so valuable, my gosh. But up until this point today, Coach, what's been the most enjoyable experience for you?
Wow, meeting other coaches, understanding that you're not on this journey alone. I love the relationships that I've built with my competitors. Dan at the Town, Matt at Ventura, Serge at Portland, David Critchley, who is now with the first team at St. Louis. That is always the best part, when I get to sit down with them in the off season with Mark, and discuss certain games, and oh, this is what we were trying to do, oh, but this is what you did, and having that battleship conversation with them has been the absolute best part. The other part is also the leadership that I get from the Sounders, right? My games are analyzed, my mannerisms on the sideline is analyzed, my actions, the way I approach the week and the training and how it results in the game is all analyzed, and I get feedback. Sometimes it's not easy to listen to that feedback, but it's the best because I know that it's done to make me better. The players have a developmental plan, but myself as the head coach of the second team also has a developmental plan according to my staff. And it's important that we're growing and I'm also getting the things that I need so that I'm better tomorrow than I am today.
It's so unique, right? To have almost like that mirror effect. Your players are evolving and you are evolving
100%.
as well. Well, Coach, I wish you all the best of luck this season. Definitely, I enjoyed our conversation today, and I hope you guys did too. Be sure to tune in to the next episode of Coach's Corner to find out who I'll be speaking to next. For now, I'm April Marie Aguilar. We'll see you guys next time. Bye.
The youngest MLS debutant, Kevin Sullivan. Luna. Yes! It's a banger! Absolute scorcher! Spectacular save from Dane St. Clair.
Este verano la Leagues Cup regresa más fuerte que nunca. Comenzamos con 36 clubes. En la primera fase, cada equipo jugará contra 3 equipos de la liga rival para determinar su posición en la fase de eliminación directa.
The 4 top-seeded clubs from each league will move on, ensuring interleague matchups all the way through the quarterfinals.
3 naciones, 2 ligas y un solo campeón. En Leagues Cup 2025,
it's dominance on the line.
My vibe. I'm feeling myself and you can't break my vibe. I'm feeling myself and you can't break my vibe. I'm feeling myself and you can't break my vibe. I'm feeling myself and you can't break my vibe. I'm feeling myself and you can't break my vibe. I'm feeling myself and you can't break my vibe. I'm feeling myself and you can't break my vibe. I'm feeling myself and you can't break my vibe. I'm feeling myself and you can't break my vibe. I'm feeling myself and you can't break my vibe. I'm feeling myself and you can't break my vibe. I'm feeling myself and you can't break my vibe. I'm feeling myself and you can't break my vibe. I'm feeling myself and you can't break my vibe. I'm feeling myself and you can't break my vibe. I'm feeling myself and you can't break my vibe. I'm feeling myself and you can't break my vibe. I'm feeling myself and you can't break my vibe. I'm feeling myself and you can't break my vibe. I'm feeling myself and you can't break my vibe. I'm feeling myself and you can't break my vibe. I'm feeling myself and you can't break my vibe. can't break my vibe. You
back in Denver, where North Texas and Colorado Rapids 2 have not broken through in one of the beautiful saves made by Zachary Campagnola to deny the one and only shot on target for not just North Texas, but the entire game. 6 chances were created by Colorado Rapids 2. However, none of them have been able to find net. This one including the centering feed off of the swing by Rogelio Garcia. The follow-up was denied by Aaron Essel. And then Colorado continued to really make things difficult for North Texas as Stuart Baines has really been cooking on this 1v1 with Michael Cortellessa. As on a fall-away shot, it was just a bit wide and right towards the end of the half. This was the give and go that North Texas attempted to create, but couldn't quite find any of the 2 targets in the middle of the box. And that's where we stand at halftime as we make our way towards the halftime stats. It's a huge discrepancy in terms of the shots attempted and the chances created. However, Zachary Campagnola, we saw that save from earlier, and that was really the only save made for the entirety of the game. JT Harms has seen a lot of balls go his way, but none have really had to test him so far. A lot of that had to do with some of the defenders in front for North Texas getting the slides in, the blocks in, a couple of shots for Colorado just not hitting net. And they've both had opportunities to go deep inside of the other's attacking end. However, nothing has really come from it. However, for North Texas, they have to watch those yellow cards. Any of those guys got to double up, they'll be shorthanded going forward. As we go for the upcoming schedule, a couple of games on Friday and a very light weekend, all things considered. North Texas will go to the airport to go straight to Vancouver to play Whitecaps 2. And for Colorado Rapids, they have a bit of a break before they get to go to Minnesota in a week from now. Us and the rest of our crew will be on deck on Sunday. St. Louis 2 and the Town FC. Brian Lee and the rest of our crew, we will be in St. Louis for that lone game on Sunday and take a look at a couple of midweek matches next week as well, as we return to the University of Denver Soccer Stadium in Denver, Colorado. We are still scoreless, back where we began, but it's the second half of play. So Colorado Rapids 2, white and maroon, left and right, they start. North Texas SC, the blue and red, they go right to left to start the second half. JT Harms has not seen any opportunities that could do any harm. No shots on target for Colorado Rapids. For North Texas, they had to force Zachary Campagnola to make the one save that was necessary, as Campagnola looks to break above 500 in the season. 2-2-1 is Campagnola in his 5 starts. And JT Harms, 1-2-1 across his 4 starts. He wants to get back to 500, as both Eric Boucher and John Gall will remain with the 11s they brought out to begin. As the sun sets in Colorado, Ryan Lee and the rest of our MLS Next Pro crew in Denver welcome you back to the University of Denver Soccer Stadium, where neither side have broken through goal yet, but that's not without any opportunities or any attempts. Colorado with 6, but have not had any within frame. North Texas, the lone shot that they created was on frame. Everything else was a couple series of crosses or passes gone awry, as that one was the exact case for Colorado, allowing North Texas to step in. Sticking with the same 11s for the second half as they did in the first half are both coaches Boucher and Gall. This is a chance for Torquato to gallop free, attempting to center but blocked. Back for Torquato, and couldn't quite connect with Contreras. Colorado Rapids 2 coming off of a loss against St. Louis. They had a 2-0 lead at the half. the last time that they were out. However, they conceded 3 goals in the second half, including 2 in second half stoppage time. And that was actually the first time that Rapids 2 had blown a multi-goal lead since April of 2024. That was a game against Sporting Kansas City 2, where Colorado was up 3-1 at the half, and they allowed 4 goals to SKC 2 in the second half. And that was last year, so this has happened to Colorado before. These monumental collapses like they did last week in St. Louis, just not necessarily on their P's and Q's as the game goes on, especially towards the latter portion. Sometimes the players might get a little bit too comfortable, giving away mistakes, a couple of freebies that allowed St. Louis to get back into that game. But they look to sharpen up here, especially on the first free kick opportunity for Colorado. Sent to the box, headed out by Cisse. Possession's back for Colorado. Touch and go, Hossa. Sent across, headed down into the box, fires, took a deflection, second chance is free, and is cleared off the line. A nice block in front by North Texas as Contreras looks for an escape. As you have Malik Pinto assisting the ball the rest of the way. Pinto, game number 15, start 10 of the season, after spending the last 2 seasons with FC Cincinnati on their run to the top seed in the Eastern Conference a year ago, and that followed 2 years at Princeton, where he was a 2-time All-Ivy League, was Pinto. And going from those 2 years at Princeton straight into Next Pro. This is a chance for Colorado. A takedown, no whistle as it's lofted to Contreras. Nice block by Amadou to settle for the Rapids. And that deflects North Texas's way. Back at that last opportunity for Colorado Rapids, you had that little entanglement in front. That was not one block, that was 2 huge blocks made by Mo Cisse. Cisse, as we mentioned back in the first half, made the Olympic roster with Mali in Paris about a year ago, and he was the lone player on that Mali side who played with an American affiliated club of any type. Everyone else was either Canadian or was overseas. And not only that, but Cisse was also the only one in that Mali squad who was, at the time, a member of the NCAA, at least actively at the time. As this one just trickled over the end line for a North Texas throw. And for North Texas, 2 straight losses to start the month of June, and that comes right after securing points in 7 of 8. 5-1-1 were North Texas in that stretch. And that actually spanned from the tail end of March to the end of May. North Texas, if they can grab the full 3, will jump into the top 3, actually surpassing Colorado. Colorado with 3 points can tie St. Louis City 2 for second most in the Western Conference, as a takedown is in favor of the Rapids. Steve Flores wanted the play to continue on, but it will be served by Pinto. Pinto served up, nothing there. Captained by Stuart Baines. Another service into the box, and that had to be held on by Harms. Harms quickly to Contreras. Contreras had himself quite an international break as a part of the USA U18s, where he was electric in the UEFA Friendship Cup, getting a game winner in a 2-0 win versus Argentina, scoring the lone goal in a 1-1 draw versus Portugal in that cup final, where the USA would eventually win that in PKs. And for Contreras, across the 4 games, 2 goals. And what a way for the 17-year-old to make his mark at the U18 level. In his 4th season with North Texas, has spent the last 2 with the Next Pro side, and those first 2 in 22-23 were with the academy. And has put himself in a position to potentially make an impact for North Texas, but has not done so. No goal contributions across his first 12 games of MLS Next Pro action, but that can change as we're only 53 minutes in a scoreless draw. Both Colorado and North Texas are also within the top 11 in terms of most goals allowed, so they have had the defensive struggles at points throughout the season. However, neither offense have really been able to capitalize either way. For Colorado Rapids, it's ballooned up to 8 shot attempts, with 1 of them on target. And for North Texas, still that early opportunity from Zachary Campagnolo with the save. That was very early in the game, as this is a chance for Rapids to reverse. Attempted centering cross by Antoni Garcia was cut off, but back for a Rapids throw. Alive from Flores. Flores cross deflected, up for grabs, top of the box. Ramirez taken down as he attempted the pivot, yellow card coming out. And it's shown towards Dauda Amadou. So that is the captain, Amadou, with the yellow. Has started in 13 of 14 this year. Last time out versus Austin was his 70th match in MLS Next Pro across his 4 seasons for the 23-year-old from Cameroon. Came to North Texas, came to Colorado, pardon, in 2022, coming from the 2nd division in Czechia. As Rapids look for the opening goal. Garcia. Out wide, goal of Rapids. Back up top, overhead on the release from Garcia. This part of the match is brought to you by Dick's Sporting Goods. Every season starts at Dick's. Harms had Swan breathing down his neck. As Cortellessa is absolutely knotted up. Sarver able to knock down right at center. Sarver and Rinaldi were up against each other, and that will be a yellow card being shown. Vincent Rinaldi disrupting the way for Sam Sarver, as Rinaldi just got the arm out to trip Sarver up. That would have been a 1v1 between Sarver and Campagnolo.
6 minutes.
Sent towards the area, settled down, but unable to keep it inside the line was SL. As we are a dozen minutes into the second half. And there's a takedown from behind as you had Rogelio Garcia and Aaron Assel. He was looked at in the first half. He is a little slow to get up again. This time medical not required for SL, the 19-year-old from Ghana who has only one cap in his name with the Ghana senior team. That was in the tail end of May in a friendly versus Nigeria. This is a chance to streak forward. Gets around one, gets around another, as the shot is right towards JT Harms. Nice attacking play from Kamani Stewart Baines, but nothing more comes from it. Nice strip from Tyrek Scott. But it goes right towards Harms regardless. Sarver touched it forward, but he's offside. A chance to go deep, but Colton Swan caught offside once again. Swan has been really trying to beat out the defense, and he has been caught offside numerous times. Already 4 times in this game have the Rapids been caught ahead of the defensive unit for North Texas. As is a chance for North Texas, and they get the opening goal. The speeding Sam Sarver strikes first as North Texas open the scoring at the hour. This is exactly what North Texas have been looking for all game long. An opportunity to let Sarver free, and he let that one rip. Top shelf for Mama Highs the Cookies for Sam Sarver as he gets his 8th goal of the season, putting him in a much tighter race for that golden boot in MLS Next Pro. And now both teams will take their respective substitutes as Sarver gets the goal. Daniel Barron will enter for North Texas, as well as Mamadou Giap for Colorado Rapids. Barron is in for Ramirez. That's the change that John Gall will make, coming right after the goal from Sarver.
North Texas SC substitution. Entering the game.
And then Giap will take the place of Antoni Garcia.
Leaving the game, number 51, Anthony Ramirez.
So North Texas will take the restart. Mamadou Giap subbed in right after the goal was scored, the 18-year-old from Senegal. Playing his 14th match of the season. And then Daniel Barron will take the place of Anthony Ramirez in his 2nd season MLS Next Pro, the 18-year-old from Chicago. 11 matches in the season, 24 in MLS Next Pro, as Sarver was looking to streak again on that far side. And that was something that they really were trying to set up a lot in the first half, was trying to get Sarver in a wide open lane down the sideline. They weren't able to get it successfully done in the first half, but they eventually were able to get so in the second half, which led to the goal only 2 minutes ago. And Sarver's a guy that just, as John Gull puts it, just takes chances in the weirdest places. Just weird angles, weird shots. But at the end of the day, he makes the defense's life difficult. Sarver's play is also one of the reasons why he was a second rounder in this last year's MLS Super Draft in 2025. A two-time third-team All-American, a first-team Big Ten in both his junior and senior year as a member of the Indiana Hoosiers. And for Sarver, if you accumulate all of his totals over the last little bit, 4 goals across the last 4 games for Sarver. Contreras wiggles around another, trying to double down on the lead. Contreras plays it back for Cortellessa. Urzua, Sarver. Does Sarver go again? Back for Scott, to Sarver! But couldn't get that one through as he just missed by a hair. Sarver is absolutely feeling it, trying to let that one fly, as he is now put up the 3rd highest goal total across MLS Next Pro with 8 goals, tying tying 2 others. You have De Rosario from Tacoma and Joyner from St. Louis, all with 8 goals total. And only trailing Seymour Reed of NYC, Yusuke Nome of Tacoma, and Nelson Pierre in the Golden Boot race. Only 2 goals away from the top mark, set by Nelson Pierre of Vancouver Whitecaps, who are actually North Texas's next opponent in the MLS Next Pro schedule. They will fly to Vancouver tomorrow. So flight Tuesday, play Wednesday, flight Thursday to play on Saturday is what's in store for North Texas SC and John Gall's side. But they do have a 1-0 cushion to work with. And they have had a great time defending with a lead. 5-1 when they get the opening goal, or North Texas. As this part of the match is brought to you by American Family Insurance. Life's better when you're protected under our roof. Sarver's opening goal busted through that roof 5 minutes ago. That gave the opening goal to North Texas. Assists credited to Anthony Ramirez. And you also had the secondary assist to Mo Cisse off of that opening Sarver goal. Colorado Rapids have 3 guys on deck ready to make changes. You've got Sidney Wathuda, Noah Strelnauer, and Matt Senanu, As the subs are now official, Matt Senanu coming in for Josh Balouz. Noah Strelnauer will replace the yellow card off of the pitch for Dauda Amadou, and Kamani Stewart-Baines. The offensive efforts that he has allows Sidney Wathuda to come in. And these are three guys who most certainly have had plenty of experience across their careers, both in the MLS NEXT Pro and in the NCAA. Strelnauer, 40 appearances across 2 seasons for the 17-year-old from Las Vegas. Matt Senanu, he's making his 10th appearance for the first year, but has played the last 4 seasons in the NCAA, splitting between Xavier after transferring from UNC with the Tar Heels. And Sidney Wathuda's in his 10th appearance in MLS NEXT Pro as Sarver tries to work the wing again. Feed to center, disrupted by Senanu. Senanu with that initial disruption as it's played to Contreras. Scott taken down. As Strelnauer gets it started for Colorado. Flores for Strelnauer. It's Colton Swan rather as it's played back. Senanu up for a G-up and last contacted by North Texas. This will be the first corner of the second half. Malik Pinto to serve. Pinto, outswinger, headed, and the equalizer! Colton Swan off of the header. Colorado's tied this game at 1. Colton Swan has been eyeing this ball all game long. So many opportunities, but none have been able to go. And Swan eventually finds the back of the net, ties the team lead in goals with 4. And just like that, Rapids 2 are back in business.
Colorado Rapids 2 goals.
Colton Swan coming off of the stint with the U18s with his goaltenders, Zachary Campagnolo. Both of them represented Team USA in the U18s at the UEFA Friendship Cup. You could say the same thing about a couple of the players on North Texas as well, both Jaden Contreras and Leo Orejarena as well. Orejarena for North Texas sits on the benches. This one scooped in, back post, Swan with the header again, but this time it's JT Harms. Minutes after Sarver got the opener, Colton Swan on the header on the corner feed from Malik Pinto. That's Pinto's first assist of the season, Swan's 4th, tying the team lead. Here's Sarver once more. Sarver got the opener, looking for another, enters the box, sends it across, no opportunity there. As that was a nice block made by the defensive unit in front. It was Vincent Rinaldi who was interfering. Blocked by Essel. Contreras wanted to elevate to Scott. Strel now reverses course. Wathuda, Wathuda! Too high. Sidney Watuda 1 week removed from his 21st birthday. The Vancouver native who actually played in 2 MLS Next Pro games with the Vancouver Whitecaps back in 2023 before going to the NCAA midway through that 23 season, where he would go to Vermont, and his second year with Vermont he would be a part of the team that would take the title in the NCAA College Cup from this past fall. And he was so good in relation to the rest of the NCAA. 11 assists for Watuda was good enough to be in the top 3 across the entire NCAA. He just talked about how there are similarities between this Rapid side that have continued to escalate the standings and that Vermont side. Just talking about the mentality, how it's strong. They continue to find a way to push and force results any chance they can. Here's a chance to force things for Colorado as the follow-up is too high. Mamadou Diop tries to get the go-ahead, but overshoots it. As Colorado have finally found their legs, now the shots are coming within the realm of frame and making JT Harms really think about things now. 14 shots attempted for Colorado. The cycle for Cortolesa. It works the far sideline. Sarver can save it. Sarver, what a move. Sarver to center. Could not connect to Contreras. Watuda. Watuda just races past Torquato. I mentioned the discrepancy in shots, twice as many shots on target for the Rapids, 5 times as many attempts, as we have another yellow card against North Texas. Chance for Watuda and the slide from the side by James Bulkley. And this set piece for Colorado, they've given up quite a number of them, have North Texas, to the Rapids, and this is probably their best chance of the game thus far.
75th minute.
"15 minutes to the end of regulation, and a 1-all game. Chance to break through for the Rapids. However, the service was overshot. So just as JT Harms sends out the goal kick, Brandon Hickam comes in for Michael Cortolesa. And for Hickam, 17 years old from the Dallas Academy, only his 10th match in MLS Next Pro. He only played in 1 game last year before getting 9 appearances this year, as Tarek Scott looks to escape on the grapple from behind. Top of the box, Contreras. Contreras wiggles through, cycled across, up top. Torquato. Torquato stepped over the ball and couldn't find the clean handle, and that allows Colorado to throw it in. North Texas, back-to-back losses. That was immediately following a 4-game win streak, which included wins in all 3 matches in May for North Texas. Colorado Rapids, 1 loss, ending a 2-game winning streak, something that they had only done 1 time in 2024. And it took them until August to get their first string of 2 consecutive wins for the Rapids. They have already done so twice, and we're only halfway through the season. Here's Giop, wiggling through, slides past defenders, lays it out. Swan serves, can't connect, out of play. Third of a 3-game homestand for the Rapids. They won the first game against Austin on it was credited as an own goal, but you had one player on each team kind of tangoing for position. But it was credited as an own goal when it's all said and done, before having a 2-0 lead at the half, just crumbling in front of them at the end of the second half against St. Louis to take that L 3-2. Having to come back from a goal down to tie this up so far as it trickles out of play. Pinto set up Swan on the corner to get the equalizer. Pinto, service, header, up for grabs, sent towards goal, second try, bobbles just wide. Colorado are cooking. They've been getting set pieces. They'll get another corner. Second of the half for the Rapids. North Texas have only gathered in 2 all game. Pinto, outswinger, headed right to Harms. Harms going deep. Had Sarver running the post route. As that is a huge collision just in front of the bench area. So a yellow card for Mamadou Giop off of that last bit of contact, and that will allow the stoppage for Josh Copeland to enter the match, as he will take the place of Rogelio Garcia. Copeland comes in at the 82nd minute. The 19-year-old who spent the last 2 years at Detroit Mercy, where he was a 3rd-team All-Horizon League a year ago, which was good enough to get him the selected at number 26 overall in the MLS Next Pro Super Draft. in his first season professionally, in his 11th appearance.
Entering the game, replacing number 57, Rogelio Garcia. 81st minute.
So that is all 5 subs utilized by Eric Boucher. Boucher in his 95th match as Rapids 2 head coach, 45, 38, and 17 is his record. As they have been on the precipice of getting a potential go-ahead, really forcing North Texas back. The last 2 regular season champions in Denver, Colorado. Rapids 2 did it in 2023, North Texas in 2024. This part of the match is brought to you by UC Health. With personalized care in locations across Colorado, UC Health is here for you. No matter where your story takes you, UC Health, live extraordinary. Eric Boucher said that his Rapids 2 side really did not play to the same level in the second half against St. Louis, where they dropped all those goals late. They just didn't play their best. They just didn't play the sharpest. And a lot of those details fell through the cracks, allowing St. Louis to gather themselves back into that game. Let's see how they do here. Schellnauer fans it out. Watuda cuts across, gives it a go, blocked by Esso. A bit of a bobble there from Vincent Rinaldi losing his footing, so Sinanu has to come back to recover. Who actually played a couple of seasons with Indy 11 in the USL Championship before going to the NCAA with the UNC Tar Heels, where his success at both UNC and Xavier allowed him to be selected number 6 overall in this past year's Super Draft. Turnover at center, won by North Texas. Contreras turns on the Jets, fans it out wide. Barron shoots. Did it take a clip on the way? No, it did not. Final 5 minutes between North Texas and Colorado Rapids 2. North Texas lost back-to-back. That's something that they only did one time in 2024. And that even includes games where they lost in the PKs. In 2025, they have already had multiple strings of consecutive losses. Something they've done twice this year, so both teams not necessarily living up to the expectations of a year ago. For North Texas, bit of a slide. For Colorado Rapids, it's a jump up. Turnaround try for Contreras as he battles along the line, and he will give the ball back to Colorado. Out wide, Steve Flores taken down. Torquato has to be careful. He's already on 1 yellow. Flores just receiving a warning from the official. Jacob Larson, Charles Rupert, Ben Kyler, and Jared Mosher, only yellow, have been directing traffic in today's game. Jacob Larson has had to be very busy today. 7 yellow cards have come out of his pocket, and a prime opportunity for Malik Pinto to send the Rapids ahead. Tied at 1, final 2 minutes. Pinto served, cleared out by North Texas. Barron along the sideline, cannot clear. Back for Giop. Giop cuts across. Giop lets it go, but it's held up by Harms. Torquato kept it in play, but right to the Rapids. Nice strip by Essel. Taken down. Reversal for the Rapids. Splits out. Copeland. Copeland crosses. Blocked in front and cleared. Mo Cisse continues to be a force on the back line and has kept Colorado's chances at bay. 20 shot attempts for the Rapids. Only 1 has broke through, many of them meeting Cisse. But another corner for the Rapids. They scored their goal on the corner earlier as Malik Pinto gets ready. Pinto on the outswinger, punched out by Harms. Kept in play by Waduda, stripped by Sarver. Sarver's got a lane, sends it forward. Wanted Landon Hickam, back to Sarver, into the hands of Campagnolo. Colorado want to sprint forward. Final minute of the 90. Center unsuccessful for Waduda, but back towards the center circle. Copeland. We have hit 90, only 4 extra minutes. Strelnauer escapes the jumble, gets it back. Waduda. Waduda can't get around Hickam. Sarver chopped down from behind. We were awaiting the stoppage in play before North Texas uses their next sub.
In the 90th minute, number 23, Caleb Swan.
It's Caleb Swan in place of Jaden Contreras, just past the 90th. Swan, the first-year academy product, getting subbed in for Jaden Contreras as this one sent in deep. Tarek Scott slides, can't strip it away. Colorado have also been super dangerous in tight, considering how 15 of the 20 shots they've attempted have been within the penalty box. However, they just haven't been within frame like they've wanted to. Some of that has been mitigated by Harm, so to look out, centering feed, a great block by Buckley. Wiggles pass, centering feed, outside netting. Colton Swan had the brace in his mind, but only found the outside of the frame. As Colton Swan Nice block there by James Bulkley. And then the swim move past Hickam, but just couldn't bury a go-ahead. 2 minutes deep of 4. Eric Boucher just wanted to get North Texas out of their comfort zone. I can argue they've done just that. 4 times as many opportunities towards net are Colorado. Shot attempts are 20-5 in favor of the Rapids, and they have really made life difficult for North Texas with about over 50% of possession as well. Pinto pushes it forward. Not there for Swan. Final minute of the 4. Pinto. Copeland down the line. Fed back in for Copeland, but last off of Torquato, so this is another corner for Colorado, their 4th of the half, 5th of the game. And most likely the final action of the game. Do we have a game winner, or are we going to penalties? Malik Pinto, outswinger, service, headed down by Swan. Foul by Swan. That'll do it for regulation. We're tied at 1 when it's all said and done. 1-1 at the end of 90. Penalty kicks are upcoming to determine the extra points. We'll be back with the start of PKs when we come back.
Should be a fun season of MLS Next Pro.
At the end of regulation, since the teams are tied on the scoreboard, the match will extend to a shootout, with each team having 5 attempts. If the teams are tied after 5 attempts, they will go to sudden death. The shootout winner will receive an extra point in the regular season standings.
One point each. Who gets the extra? 1-1 after regulation between Rapids 2 and North Texas SC as we take a look at the full-time highlights from our midweek matchup, which begins match week 15. And this is where things got started with Sarver along that far side, roofs the opening goal at the hour. And for Sarver, that's his 8th goal of the season. Good enough for the 3rd most in MLS Next Pro. And 10 minutes after that, in the 70th, Pinto with the cross. And it was Colton Swan with the header to tie this game up at 1. And that has been it in 90 minutes of play. So we will go to penalty kicks as regulation ends tied at 1. Each team will get a point in the standings, but the question is who gets the extra? As Colorado Rapids, if you consider everything that has happened for them as of late, They have been unbeaten in 3 of the last 4. For North Texas, they have not won in their 3 games in the month of June, after having 4 games in a row with W's, dating all the way back to the final match of April on the 23rd against the Town FC. That was a 2-0 win against the Town, and that was the last time that North Texas were able to get the W. That started a 4-game run. They have lost 2 straight. Today marks their 3rd straight game without getting the win in regulation. North Texas will take the opening kick, and whatever happens, whether they can recoup a point or whether or not they can only take 1, they will at minimum bring something back when they head to Vancouver. Coach Gall already letting us know that travel day from Denver to Vancouver is tomorrow, as Colorado will take a trip to Minnesota a week and a half from now. As Sam Sarver, he scored the opening goal up against Zachary Campagnolo. Campagnolo in 2025, he's only seen the penalty kicks once, and that was not an extra point for Colorado Rapids. As Sam Sarver, 3rd most goals in MLS Next Pro with 8, scored the opening goal at the hour on the 18-year-old goalkeeper Zachary Campagnolo. Sarver to start. Sarver to start. Sarver drills it. Both looking at Sarver's left, but it was Sarver who beat out Campagnolo. And coming off of the bench is Sidney Watuda. 3 goals, 3 assists on the season in 8 matches in 2025. The number 16 overall pick in this past year's MLS Super Draft. Working on JT Harms, has seen penalty kicks once, did not get the bonus point. Watuda on Harms. Harms gets the stop. Both guys going low. Watuda wanted to go bottom right, but JT Harms up to the task. Second shooter up for North Texas, Alejandro Urzua. 4th season in MLS Next Pro, 39 matches played, coming from the FC Dallas Academy program. Urzua to double down for North Texas in round 2. Pings the piping out. Wanted to go high, just like his teammate Sarver, but that one just a bit too much, as that one echoed iron. And Colorado Rapids 2, with the support from his goalkeeper Campagnolo. Anderson Hossa to step up to the dot. 2-time first-team ACC in his 4 seasons with the UCF Knights. 2nd-round draft pick in the 2024 MLS Super Draft. Anderson Hossa to level it. He will. Anderson Hossa. Nothing fancy there, just a bit of a chip shot, slightly to his left. 1-1 we sit after 2 rounds as Daniel Barron comes in Only one goal in his MLS Next Pro career. That was last season in his first year. As the left footer works on Campagnolo. Barron bangs it in. The little stop at the very end maybe had Campagnolo waiting, but Barron was able to get it through as the go-to guy for Eric Boucher. He's been the setup guy in every stoppage. Malik Pinto, he's been taking the set pieces. He's been taking the corners. Almost all of them have been to set guys up. Got his first assist of the season on the corner kick that set up Colton Swan's equalizer in the 70th. Pinto 2 goals on the season across 15 games. Malik Pinto and JT Harms. Slowly goes Pinto, and Harms stops again. JT Harms 2 goals with the dive, both of them going to his left low side. And all the pressure now comes to Tarek Scott. Scott in his 4th season with North Texas. He's a Jamaican U20. He was in the top 10 in goals in MLS Next Pro last year with 10. The Frisco native to put the pressure on the Rapids. Tarek Scott gets another. And it's 3-1 North Texas after 4. And almost every shot has gone high for the reigning champs. As one of the go-to offensive pieces for Colorado Rapids, the 18-year-old from Senegal is Mamadou Diop. Scored the game-winning goal against Sporting Kansas City back on the 1st. Chance to pull Colorado within 1. Mamadou Diop. Harms got a touch, but not all of it, and it keeps Colorado within reach. Harms has been absolutely money, especially going on that right side, but just couldn't get it that time as he got partial contact. And Aaron Essel, he made his debut with North Texas on Easter Sunday when these two last played. That time Colorado won it in stoppage time. He can win it for North Texas in the penalty kicks. He's on a 1-year loan from St. Johnstone, a club in Scotland. He made his first North Texas appearance against Colorado Rapids to a chance to be the hero in Denver. Aaron Essel, the hero in Denver. He called his shot, he banks it through, and North Texas get the extra point in PKs.
And North Texas SC wins the match on penalty kicks 4-2.
final penalty of the night, Aaron Essel, and he called his shot. The point, the power, and the extra point for North Texas as the battle of the two reigning regular season champs goes to last year's in North Texas SC getting the bonus point on Colorado Rapids. A tight game contested all the way through, and just when it looked like Colorado had control, North Texas able to scoop the extra point going into Vancouver. North Texas wins 4-2 in the PK shootout after a 1-all draw. Don't forget you can watch MLS Next Pro all season long at MLS Season Pass and Apple TV and MLSNextPro.com. For our entire MLS Next Pro crew, my name is Ryan Lee. North Texas, get the bonus points. Thank you for joining us. Have a great rest of your night.
This copyrighted broadcast of Major League Soccer may not be retransmitted, reproduced, or rebroadcast without the express written consent of Major League Soccer.